Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing Far Cry 5. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and salutations. Today we're looking at Far Cry Arcade. Let's get to it. So the Far Cry Arcade is a separate entity almost than the Far Cry campaign. You have some of the same, you have similar weapons and loadouts and things like that, but everything else is pretty much different. You have different modes. You can have an outpost where you have to take out all the enemies, where it's just PvE. You have deathmatch and team deathmatch. You have like a survival type mode where you have to get to a certain area in order to win, etc. So the objectives can vary, and it can be against other players or against NPCs. This particular one is an outpost, which is a solo or co-op. You can play it by yourself or with one other friend.
Enter. Here we go. Uh-oh.
And there can be different modifiers. So this one was made by Ubisoft. This one has a modifier where you can be underwater as long as you want without dying. So if you want to explore the entire underwater, environment, you can do that. Figure out the best method of getting into the outpost and taking the NPCs out. Now, outposts can have up to 3 alarms. So if you are detected, they're going to go for the alarm and bring in more guys. So right now it's at 16 enemies that you have to kill. If the alarm goes off, that number will jump up.
Yeah, the setup feels the same as, I'm not trying to say Call of Duty a lot, but this feels like a Call
So
of Duty
you can go in stealthily
the way the guns look, but
and try to take all the guys out without being detected, and you only have to take out 16 guys. If you just want to run and gun it, you can do that, but it will be more difficult because you'll have more guys come in as soon as that alarm goes off. Now you'll notice there's skyscrapers in the background. Not a whole lot of skyscrapers in the campaign, seeing as it's kind of a mostly uninhabited area of Montana, or rural area, I should say.
I told you could have picked one.
yeah.
So the arcade has the ability to have other locations other than what is in the campaign. And players can use the map editor to make their own levels. So making your own level, and then you can publish it, and then other players can play it, and obviously it'll get played more often if it's a decent map. Map size varies. In terms of scope, the maps are generally smaller than what you see in the campaign for any of the regions. A lot of the PvP maps are very small. One of the complaints that I have right now about PvP is that the other team or other players can go into your team's spawn area. So as soon as you show up, someone could be right behind you and take you out as soon as you get in. So that's one of my complaints that I have for PvP. There's not a lot of selection right now with maps. Ubisoft does have some maps available out there, but it's relatively limited, and until you have a few players that come up with their own maps that are reasonable or decent, you're not going to have a lot of good maps to choose from. PvP maps, you have a certain set of people that choose between maps. So if that's you, you get to choose between several maps, and then several other players have the same option, and then the entire group
'Cause you can
of
invite people,
12
people.
get to vote on which map
Gave me
they
permission
want to
invite more
use.
people at the bottom, or when I was on,
So if you're playing with a full group of 6 players
'cause I was looking
for
at
team
people,
deathmatch,
playing other games.
so you have a pre-made team of
I
6,
don't know, though.
you could obviously vote on the one that you want and all 6 votes. Say, okay, let's do this map. This is the map that I made.
Joseph Seed.
And obviously there's the possibility where there's some asymmetrical fighting where one side has more of an advantage than the other,
Holy shit. I'm already getting shot at bad, right?
which is an interesting concept. On paper, in reality, you end up
right here.
with one side just beating the snot out of the other side.
Gotta try to help my buddy. My buddy.
Now you'll notice that it went up from 16 to 22 because the alarm went off, so it didn't double, but there are more guys, and I believe they are a little bit higher difficulty than the ones that are originally on the map. Now each map you have either default loadouts or you have special loadouts depending on what the map editor created.
Oh shit. Sniper across the way, watch out.
Now like I said, this one was made by Ubisoft, so this one does have a very good, well organized, thought out setup. You have kind of a almost like a prison type setup where you have watchtowers along the perimeter, and then you have a group of guys in the center.
Oh, nice, buddy. Nice.
But anyway, check out Far Cry Arcade. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and we'll see you next time.